Alright, this is Eric with Sharky's Talk. This is the fourth episode of this. I'm still just getting started learning everything, so bear with me while I get used to this and hopefully build up my fan base. And I'm getting a lot better. First things off, I take videos of the bands that I've gone and seen, and I've seen everyone from Cross Canadian Ragweed to Kentucky Headhunters to George Strait, to you name it. Pretty much the only two people that I haven't seen that I really want to see, kind of hard because they've died, is Graham Parsons, the father of Cosmic American Music, and Waylon Jennings. But pretty much everybody else, like the legends, I've pretty much seen, and very grateful for that. But also, this episode is going to be about recently released albums, upcoming releases, and new discoveries that bands and artists that I've discovered that are new on the scene, or only been on the scene a few months to a few years. So, anyways, last time I didn't see any live music last weekend due to we had a lot of bad weather around the area, so I didn't really go out and see any because it wasn't just storms, it was tornadic and shit like that, so I just stayed home. But this week it's supposed to be a really nice weekend. It's supposed to be really nice, so I plan on going seeing Friday night a local guy out in Fort Smith, Arkansas. Then head down to Saturday, head down to Sticky's Rock and Roll Chicken Shack in Little Rock, Arkansas, and watch DeFrance, a very great rock and newer band that I love. Grace Askew, I think that's how you say her last name. She was on The Voice. She's kind of a folk singer. Her Atlantis Aquarius, I've never heard of them. They're kind of like Chris Robinson Brotherhood, Government Mule, Warren Haynes, all this other stuff, kind of like psychedelic rock. And then the Going Gypsies, which I think is more honky tonk. So they've got 4 bands down there Saturday at Sticky's. I'm going to go down there for the first time. I've never been to Sticky's. I'm looking forward to it, hand out my business cards and all that shit. So anyways, I'm going to get situated here. But last 2 weeks ago, I went and seen Kentucky Headhunters, and they are by far one of the best live rock and blues band I've ever seen. I didn't know a lot about them, which I think we were talking about in the last podcast that I did for this, but I only knew like 3 songs, but they are a fantastic rock and blues. Greg Martin, which I think is their cousin, plays lead guitar. Oh my Lord, just love the way he plays, and another thing that I'm grateful for, that I'm getting broader and more people starting to notice what I do, is I took a video, and it's on my YouTube, Aspiring Music Writer on YouTube, subscribe to it. Took some videos of them playing live at Gillies at Picola, and it's almost, one of the videos I took almost got 40 or 500 views, and another one's got my first comment. So, like I said, I've only been doing this for a couple months, taking videos, or last 2 years, whatever you want to call it. So, gradually getting up there, So, I'm very thankful for that. Also, and then Sunday, which I kind of got off base, I'm going to go watch the legendary Marshall Tucker Band in Roland. They are playing a free concert at Lee Creek Tavern in the casino out in Roland, Oklahoma. I've never seen them before. I think they got one original member left. But great southern rock, jazz, country, fusion band. I'm sure everybody knows who Marshall Tucker band is. And what I didn't know, I was doing some studying today, and Marshall Tucker, how they got that name was from a blind piano man that rented a house where they rehearsed before they did. He bought it out and it was engraved on the key, and that's how they come up with Marshall Tucker. But anyway, so that can be my weekend. Great Memorial Weekend. I'm sure there's a lot of live music playing around the U.S., so go check if you're into music, go check everybody out. But there's been a lot. I really dig like the Americana, classic country, stuff like that, folks rock, roots rock, folks rock, whatever you want to call it. But some recent albums that have come out in the last few months to a year is Ron Bingham came out with one last year called American Love Song. I actually have not listened to that because I've not really been in a Ron Bingham mood. I've been more in a Red Dirt mood, and he's more Americana. And but I was watching if you ever get a chance to watch interviews of him, do it. He is a great artist, very articulate, and he loves, talking about writing songs about where he comes from, because he's what I call a wandering drifter. He's been many places too. And I wish I could remember the story I was reading a few years ago where he was literally had no money, and he produced one self-released album before his 2007 release, Mescalado, I think. I'm not for sure how you pronounce it. And he was working somewhere overseas as a cowboy in a Western themed thing or something, and somebody had actually recognized him all the way from I think it was Canada. I'd have to go back and research that, but he was all the way around the world. Actually, I think it was further than not Canada, but somewhere else. And he was just amazed that this. I think he made 500 copies of this self-released album, and somehow got all the way overseas, and people knew who he was, and he thought that was crazy, which I do too, especially when you don't have, anything backing you up, and he didn't at that time. But anyways, check out American Love Song. He is a very great writer. He is been featured on Kevin Costner's Western Yellowstone. Did the Weary Kind for Crazy Heart, which starred Jeff Bridges, and numerous other television sitcoms out in Hollywood. And he's folk and country mixed together. Now he's getting into more rock. But if you go back and listen to his interviews and figure out who he was influenced by, it doesn't surprise any hardcore based fan or loyal fan that he is going more towards rock. Bob Dylan influenced him, to the Grateful Dead, to Terry McBride or Terry Allen, which is Texas stuff. But American Love Song, go check that out. Also, my favorite record that's come out recently come out is Jack Ingram's Riding High, and it was just released 2-3 months ago. And I'm glad he's finally getting back to the Texas songwriter-based stuff that he started out with here when he first started out, down in Texas. A buddy of mine and me went and seen him and Hayes Carl do a song swap, acoustic song swap, which was awesome. I mean, fucking awesome. I mean, because that's what I love. And they told stories and of how they come up with songs, and which, I mean, I just love stuff like that, you know. And but it's very laid back. It's kind of like a demo, and which is totally different. It don't really, and it's very laid back. And he's got a song on there called "Staying Out of Jail," which he went back and wrote about his early days. And there's a story he told when I went and seen him up in Georgia at Georgia's Majestic Lounge in Fayetteville, Arkansas. Of how all that came to be, and then he does a cover of "Don't It Make You Want to Dance," which oh shit, what is his name? I can't think of what his name is. He recorded it, and I think he recently passed away. And then he does Willie Nelson's "I Gotta Get Drunk," or "I Sure Do Regret It." And some other terrific songs. Also, another album is Todd Snyder's Cash Cabin Sessions. If you've never heard of Todd Snyder, go out and search him. He is hilarious. He reminds me of a comedian and Bob Dylan mixed in together. Because I was watching a video years ago, and he was talking about how he would get nervous in his early days and just start telling these stories. And, you know, now they've become a part of his show. And they're legendary stories about him the first time he met songwriter Aaron Allen, to, you know, him playing football when he was a kid, to find out what he wanted to be as a hippie songwriter, to the Jerry Jeff Walker story. I mean, just all these great stories. But I haven't really listened to a lot of Cash Cabin Sessions, but there's one that he wrote called "The Ghost of Johnny Cash." It's supposed to be great, and just him, and it's usually him, acoustic guitar, and maybe a fiddle. I mean, it's very stripped down music. He's also, I think, he's on tour with Elizabeth Cook right now. They've got a side project going. Also, another great album that I'm really digging right now is "What It Is" by Hayes Carl. Hayes Carl, I've seen him, I think, 3 times. And I think 3 times. And I love just the way he reminds me of a country Bob Dylan. And he's got a weird sense that I love the way he intertwines words and his song play and this and that. But I mean, and he's got it's just a great album that, you know, stripped down album, you know, and he's got his upbeat songs and his slow songs. My favorite song on that album is a song called "Elvis and Jesus." And what he was telling the audience that night that I seen him with Jack Ingram at Georgia's Majestic Lounge in Fayetteville, Arkansas, was that he had went and played this little place. I can't even remember where the place was, but it had Christmas lights up, and this was like in the middle of like August or something. And he finally got asked the owner, he goes, "What's the deal with the Christmas lights? Did y'all just don't take them down or what?" And he goes, "Well," and the lady was telling him that her late husband had went off to war, and he never came back, and that was a dedication to him never coming back. And he wrote, and apparently he wrote that song out of that story. The story goes a lot deeper into what all it meant, but you know, and it's which I love, like really personal songs like that. Wade Bowen's got one, I think, on not his last album, the album before, I cannot think of what that song is though. But it's talking about this girl he knew, and they went and toured a winery somewhere, and they were talking about this woman that worked there, and he come up with this, wrote a song about that, and then I'm sure there's a lot more out there, recently released albums, but another one that I really am I love, and is a Randy Rogers new album, Hellbent. It's a little bit more mainstream, because it's produced by, I think, Dave Cobb. I'm pretty sure it's Dave Cobb. And it's a little bit more mainstream than what they usually go for, but it still has great songwriting, great fiddle work by Brady Black. And, the first song is called Drinking Money. And, but like I said, check that album out too. Hellbent, I'm 98% sure, but don't quote me on it, is a cover of a Guy Clark song that Guy Clark wrote before he passed. Guy Clark's one of the most fucking most talented songwriters out there in the Texas scene, and he died a few years ago, but he is great. And what kept him alive is what a lot of people say, is that after he started, doing his stuff, he'd go and collaborate with the younger artists like Wade Bowen and Randy Rogers and all this other stuff, those are about 5 of the recently released albums. If you hadn't checked them out, please do. They are both great in their own right, and all different types of country, rock, or whatever, and folk, and but the next subject I was going to get to was upcoming releases, and some of them I don't know the actual release, but they range all the way from rock, southern rock, to, ragtime, to just a little bit of everything. The first one I want to talk about is Whiskey Myers. Probably the best southern rock / country / blues authentic blues band out there. I mean, just fucking awesome, man. I mean, to a T. I've seen them like 3 times. They put on a fantastic fucking show. And I've got my guitar signed by all of them. But, I mean, I've never actually sat down and talked to any of them. But because I'm sure, the last time I seen them was at Bacola in Gillies. And they were, headed home because they'd been doing some recording for their upcoming album. Which I'm not for sure if they actually have a release date. But I think, no, don't quote me. Because I know the last album they did a cover of a David Allan Coe's Time Off for Bad Behavior. I think they might do Neil Young's Rockin' in the Free World. I seen a live video of them doing it live over in Germany. They're over in Germany right now, doing a tour overseas. But another great song that I got to see live was Gasoline. Just a great, I think they did one other song too. When I went and seen them the last time I seen them live. But they've got it, I mean, just excellent, authentic southern rock country. I mean, pretty much if you put Skinner and Hank Jr. together, that's what they would be. I mean, just modern, and still to the point where they're modern, but they're authentic. They don't go too mainstream. Another album that's coming up is, actually, I think it comes out Friday on Spotify, and is Justin Towns Earl, called The Saint of Lost Causes. If you don't know Justin Towns Earl, he is Steve Earle's son. And one thing I love about JTE is their music is totally fucking different. I mean, off the wall different. because Steve Earle's got that acoustic folk, country rock sound, and Justin Towns Earle, goes a little bit to like the 50s, ragtime, blues. He's more influenced by the Beat generation, like that, and it's totally different music. I've never seen JTE in concert. I'd love to, but he's never made it down to Arkansas that I know of. So check that out. That comes out Friday, the 26th. Yeah, 26th or 24th. I can't remember. Whatever day Friday is. The next album, which I have no clue when it's going to come out, is Chris Knight, one of my favorite songwriters out there. He's working on touching up his new upcoming album. I don't know any of the songs. I've researched it. Don't know any of the songs, or if any guest appearances. Last time he had John Prine on there as a verse on one of the songs. John Prine is, one of the fucking best out there. But one thing I love about him is he puts his family before he does his music. Because I think it's been like 4 or 5 years since his last album came out. I've fortunately got to see him 3-4 times already. Love to see him again. A few years back, I got to see him, Coda Canada, and Charlie Robinson do acoustic song swap. And that was awesome. The next one that's coming up that y'all need to look out for is Stoney LaRue. I think it's coming out pretty quick. I'm not for sure though. But it's been a while for him too. I've gotten to see Stoney. The funny thing is though, with Stoney, where I go watch a lot of my music, at Temple Live in downtown Fort Smith, Arkansas, my very first guitar that I had, he's the first Red Dot artist that I got to sign it. So that's pretty cool. Now I'm on my 4th guitar, and I got the Kentucky Headhunters to sign it last. I'm hoping to get Marshall Tucker Band. That would be pretty fucking awesome to sign my guitar. Another one that I'm going to look forward to is Margot Price is producing Jesse Coulter's new album, which is Waylon Jennings' widow and Shooter Jennings' mother. She was on. I'm looking forward to that. I love Margot Price. She reminds me of like a Tammy Wynette, modern day Tammy Wynette. She don't give a shit what you think. Pot smoker. Stands up for her rights. I love it. Her and John Prine, I think they're doing a concert or something. Doing something about standing up for banning abortions, which I love, which I don't want to get too political. But like I said, if you, I don't try to get very political in here, but I love the way they stand up for, even if I don't agree, I still love people that stand up for what they believe in. Another one that I'm cannot be happier about to listen to is Tyler Childers' new album, Country Squire. It's coming out It's coming up. And I doubt it will, because he is so out there with his mixture of bluegrass and folk and country and authentic style. I hope it's not a bomb when it comes out, But he's got his new album, which I'm thinking is probably one of the most anticipated Americana album out there. Also, I think Korn is in the works of a new album too, which is totally off from whenever we've been mentioning here. But I'm not big of a fan of Korn, of heavy metal, but I do love Korn. And there's also another local artist that's around the Fort Smith area. Well, actually, he's from Oklahoma, and he'd recently moved down here to Fort Smith. I met him like a week ago at a songwriters night at Harry's downtown in Fort Smith on Garrison Avenue. But his name is Chavez Solis, and you spell that ChavesSoliz. And he's got an upcoming album coming out, and look for that on Spotify. Another one, onto the next part of this podcast, is new discoveries that I have found. Very new. First one is Chris Jones and the Flycatchers. They opened up for Jason Boland and the Stragglers Temple Live. They are like a new red dirtish modern country band out of Norman, Oklahoma. They're a little bit more mainstream, but but still fantastic musicianship. I got to meet them. I gave them my card. They gave me their information, and I did a review when they opened up for Jason Boland, and you can find that on www.aspiringmusicblogger.com. But they are in the works of coming out with a new album. And one thing I loved about them, I think they did 12 songs that night, and only one was a cover, and it was the Sturgill Simpsons' "You Can Have the Crown." Like I said, great, very nice guys. If you have to see them in the Arkansas, Oklahoma area, go check them out or talk to them. They are very nice. The next one that I'm really digging is Reed Southwell Band. I think that's how you say it. I'm not for sure. But the bad part is they played a sold-out show down at Harry's downtown a few weeks ago. Actually, I think it was last week. And I missed it because when they announced this concert, I didn't know if I was going to be out of town, so I didn't really get the ticket to go. But I've been listening to the hell out of their debut album on Spotify. Also, but they're like a red dirtish country band. But check them out. Also, another one is Austin Meade. And they kind of he blends like 70s rock with red dirt, which is totally different than what I've seen in any band around here, and I'm starting to really dig his debut album. And then another two that I don't know a lot about, but I've heard a few songs, is Cody West and Colby Cooper. So check them out too. Also, and another thing that I'm going to start doing on this podcast, I'm going to try to do it weekly, and I've got to get better at it, is I'm going to do my reviews on Facebook, but also I'm going to do like of the bigger bands, instead of writing them out, I think I'm going to talk about them on here and do the local ones, just still do it on my www.aspiringmusicblogger.com and Facebook, but do it on here too to get them out. But the first one that I'm going to do is Bishop Gunn. If you haven't heard Bishop Gunn, go check them out. They are fantastic. I mean, fantastic. They opened up for Blackberry Smoke last year, I think, at Temple Live. And to me, they blew them out of the water. And there was nothing against Blackberry Smoke. They're fucking badass on stage too. But it was just they had more charisma on stage. Travis McCready, the lead singer, reminds me of like Joe Cocker, and I mean just fan-fucking-tastic on stage. But they've got their debut album come out, Natchez, which is actually where they're from, in Natchez, Mississippi, and they just got through doing a crawfish boil down there with concerts and stuff like that. So check that out. Another thing I think is I accidentally deleted the very first episode of this. So I think what I'm going to do, which was the influences of people who influenced me and stuff like that, and how I became what I'm doing now, I think I'm going to go back and redo that too. And so look forward to that. And like I said, check out www.aspiringmusic Aspiring Music Writer on YouTube. That's my YouTube page where I'm going to post this and videos of all the bands I see. Then go check out my Facebook, Beyond Obsessed. It's a picture of me right now. It's the profile pictures of me and the lead singer from Kentucky Headhunters. And then go check out www.aspiringmusicblogger.com and just check out this. And this will be on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, I think, no, not iHeart yet, because I've got to get 5 of these going, and this will be my third since I deleted the other one. Spreaker will on here, and my YouTube, and my personal Facebook, Eric Stone, and Beyond Upset. So see y'all next time.